Hey everyone, it's Nate here with Element Van Life. Just wanted to do another Tuesday Q&A video. The way it works, post your questions in the comments below and then I will answer them in the next video. Next one will be, let's see here, it's going to be next Tuesday. It'll be on the 13th of June. Let's get started, guys. We have a lot of great questions to go over this week. First one comes from Caitlin Fruhoff. They say, what do your family thinks about your lifestyle, and does your family support you? At first they were very negative about it. They weren't really in support of it at all, and then over time they became a little bit more open to it. I do talk to them all the time, pretty much every day, so I mean they're definitely more open to it now. I mean, I wouldn't say they support it. They're certainly not the biggest fans of it, and they'd much rather have me living in an apartment and having a regular job and that sort of thing, but you know, they definitely are open to it more now than they were back in the day. Lane the 13th says, I love the channel. Thank you. For a self-proclaimed introvert, how are you so comfortable in front of the camera? Is it because no one else is in the room? Keep them coming. Yeah, I think that's probably part of it. I think that honestly that the fact that they're like when I'm shooting these videos, there's no one else that can hear me for the most part. There's people walking by that think I'm absolutely crazy, but it doesn't really bother me. I don't know. I guess I've just gotten used to it too. You know, I've made over like 100 videos, so you kind of get used to just talking to the camera and just kind of being yourself in front of it. And you know, there are obviously ways to improve still, there always are, but I don't know, I guess that I'm just more open to it. Being an introvert, I mean, just means that I get my energy from being alone and having time alone, that I can kind of recharge my batteries, I guess you could say, and get more comfortable, whereas an extrovert would gain their energy from being around other people. I think that that's really the only difference there, and yeah, I mean, I think I'm still an introvert, definitely. Sean Richardson, alcohol laws are very strict here in Canada, and I believe you must be on private property or in a camping ground in order to consume alcohol in a vehicle. What are the laws in the United States? I'm not really sure. I think that they vary pretty greatly between state to state. I mean, certain states are more open to it, whereas others aren't. Like Louisiana, for example, is very open to alcohol. You can drink open containers of alcohol just walking around on the streets in most of the cities in Louisiana, whereas in Utah, it's where I'm just coming from. You know, earlier today I was there, and now I'm in Nevada. But you know, it's just like it's completely different. You know, completely different. So it definitely varies greatly from state to state. David Chernich, excellent channel. Thanks. Thank you. I'm jealous you're on the right road. Literally, how many flat tires have you had? Tire brand annual miles driven. So flat tires, I actually, knock on wood, haven't really had too many issues with flat tires. I've had issues with them getting low and then having to get them patched up, but I haven't like blown out a tire yet. Hopefully that doesn't happen anytime soon, because that would not be fun. Tire brand, I have BF Goodrich, I think they're called the Long Trail tires on there. They've been awesome. I've got a lot of miles on them. I mean, probably close to 30 or maybe even 40,000 miles on it at this point, so it's getting about that time for me to replace them. I'm going to need to do that pretty soon. Annual miles driven anywhere from like 18 to 22,000. That's generally where I've been. I mean, I got the Element in July of 2014. It's almost July of 2017, so it's been almost 3 years, and I've put on, you know, over 50,000 miles. Kevin Hansen, will you tell us or name your top 3 YouTubers that are vehicle or van dwellers with less viewer count, maybe lesser known than you? And then GoPro Joe also asked the same question. Do you watch any other YouTubers with the same lifestyles? I do watch a few others. I mean, Brian Adventure Van Man is one that I've been watching for a while. You know, obviously I've met up with him a couple of times since then and been able to hang out with him and get to know the guy, but I mean, he's an awesome guy and I really like his channel. Jed, Into the Mystery 13, I've watched a lot of his content and stuff like that. I mean, there's a lot of them. I mean, obviously Cheap RV Living with Bob Wells, and then, you know, there's a couple of others as well. But in terms of like lesser known people, I'm not really much of an expert. I don't really have a lot of time to watch YouTube. I try to watch as much of it as I can and you know, pay attention to what's going on out there in the community and stuff, but it is tough to keep up with all of them. It really is. One in a million, where do you get your clean water, and how often do you have to refill your water container, and where do you get rid of your gray water? So the clean water is underneath the sink. I have a video about my sink setup, definitely check that out. But I have like a 1 gallon tank of clean water, and then I just use the empty 1 gallon to catch the gray water. I empty the gray water usually in like public drains, just pour it down public drains or public bathrooms, stuff like that. But yeah, just that 1 gallon. I know it doesn't sound like a lot, but I only use the water to brush my teeth for the most part. I mean, sometimes I'll have like another gallon of water just like to sip on if I'm like in a place like this where it's really hot and I've been drinking a lot of water. But you know, for the sink itself, just 1 gallon. Kyle Wanset, hey Nate, thanks for answering my question in your Q&A 28, no problem. Figured that your working and saving up would be the best way to afford this lifestyle. Just curious if you had any secrets on earning some cash. I plan on living in my 2013 Kia Soul. Yeah, for me, I mean, it really is just kind of I make the majority of my money by working those seasonal jobs, and then I kind of just have a little bit of extra income coming in from the freelance web design stuff, and then obviously from YouTube and stuff like that. But yeah, I mean, it really is just kind of focusing and working as much as I can in a short period of time, making as much money as I can, and then having that money to kind of put aside and save a little bit, and then also have a little bit to travel on for a month or two, and then kind of just repeat the process over and over again. Wilson Scott, hey Nate, I've been following your posts for a while. Do you ever get sick? What meds do you carry? By the way, if you're ever in San Francisco, let me know. Yeah, definitely. I'll definitely let you guys know. I want to go back to San Francisco at some point. And then in terms of getting sick, I mean, yeah, occasionally I'll get like a cold or something like that. I'll have like NyQuil and Dayquil and stuff like that to treat it. You know, hopefully it doesn't get too bad. If it does, I'll have to try to figure out a way to get like an antibiotic or something like that. But you know, hopefully it doesn't get to that issue. It really hasn't gotten that far too often when I get a cold. And then in terms of meds that I carry, yeah, I mean, that's pretty much it, just like over-the-counter stuff. Robert Cole, what does your solar system power? Just the refrigerator for the most part. That's the main goal of the solar system, is to keep the fridge running. And then, yeah, I mean, occasionally I'll charge up my cell phone, and if I need to charge my laptop, I can. The drone occasionally, but normally I only charge the laptop and the drone when I'm actually driving around, and then the laptop obviously when I'm at Starbucks or at a public library or stuff. Jerry Pritchford, where are you heading next? California. I'm heading to California today. I'm probably going to be over there at some point later this evening, and then yeah, and then I'm going to be in California for probably for a little while. PJD, hey Nate, my question is, I have a smartphone and some years ago made videos of gardening stuff and went straight to YouTube. It was on there. How do you do a video, then edit it, no editing program here, and then send it to YouTube? Free editing program is the one out there. I know that there are some editing programs that are actually available, like to use on only your smartphone, and you can actually shoot it and edit it and probably upload it all from your smartphone. I don't know any specific ones. You know, a lot of free ones, if you have a Windows machine, Windows Movie Maker is completely free for all Windows machines. You have to go on, you know, on Windows, there's a website. If you just Google it, how to download Windows Movie Maker, it's free for anyone who has Windows. So that's an option. That's what I used when I was starting out, and it worked out really well. Yeah, but that's pretty much it. I mean, it's pretty straightforward, self-explanatory. They don't have too many crazy features, so it's not too overwhelming. Definitely, if you have a Windows machine, Movie Maker, and I want to say iMovie is free on Mac machines, but I'm not really too familiar with Apple products, so I wouldn't really know for sure. Cameron Crow, I've heard you say in past videos one of your go-to eating spots is Chipotle. What's your order usually consist of? Usually I get a burrito bowl with either carnitas or chicken, and then I throw like rice in there. I don't really do too much. I don't really like beans that much, so I don't put beans in there, but I do put vegetables, and then, you know, sour cream and cheese and, you know, salsa, pico de gallo, stuff like that, and it works out really well. I'm a big fan of the Chipotle burrito bowl, and you can also get a tortilla on the side, and I've heard that you can get multiple tortillas. I've never got more than one, but apparently you can get multiple ones, and then you have those, and then you can it adds like a little bit more calories to the meal, so it makes it so that I can get two or maybe even 3 meals out of it sometimes. Noel Vallejo, why don't you fully endorse your website designing marketing company, or are you just keeping low to the possibility of high demands which may interfere with van life? No, I'm fully open to taking on new clients. So if there's anybody out there that needs web design or any sort of digital marketing, SEO, anything like that, I mean, I'm absolutely open to taking new clients, definitely. Fernando Jaramillo, hey Nate, great videos, thank you. Question, do you always keep your windows covered while driving? Do police ever pull you over to ticket you? Keep up the good work. I'm looking to travel in my 07 Element. Right on. Yeah, so in terms of keeping the windows covered, yeah, I pretty much keep them covered all the time. The side ones here, this here, and the back one, keep it covered all the time, and I've never really had any issues with it. I think that as long as you can see out 2 mirrors, that it's legal. You just have to be able to see out of 2 of the 3 mirrors, so either your rear view and one of your side, or both of your side mirrors, and I can see out both my side ones just fine. I even have the little blind spot monitors, like the little tiny blind spot mirrors on each of the side mirrors, and it works out really well. Colorado car camping. Hey Nate, today June 6th, I am setting out on my journey to live in my car for 3 months while I drive across the country. Right on. It looks like you're interested in maybe starting a YouTube channel, and then a few things to know before starting, or things that I wish I had known before starting my channel. I mean, you know, there's not really too much. I kind of knew mostly what I was getting into with it. It is important to note that like you don't really do this for the money, at least not at first. Like, it's a lot of folks talk about, oh, how much do you make on YouTube and how much comes in, and it's like, for me, it's really not a substantial income. It's definitely not something I could live on, and it never really has been. There's been a couple of months that have been like, you know, that I've been happy with, that have been really awesome, but for the most part, you know, it's not really for the AdSense revenue that I do this. I do it because I took a lot of inspiration from, you know, from a lot of other YouTubers when I was considering moving into the element full-time and living van life and embracing this new lifestyle. So, I mean, I really wanted to inspire other people to do that as well. And, you know, I think that I do get messages a lot from people that have said that they're going to do adventures just like you are, you know, to travel full-time, and that's really fulfilling to me, and I really do enjoy that. But, you know, in terms of going into it, definitely don't go into it for the money, because the amount of time that you put into it versus what actually comes out of it, it's absolutely not worth it. But it is a great outlet for creativity, and that's something else that I really enjoy about it as well. I really enjoy creating videos and creating content, and so I mean, that's. And then maybe a better question would be, if you could go back in time, knowing what you know now, what would you do differently? It's really tough to say. I mean, overall, I think that I would actually, might sound crazy, but I would redesign the Element a little bit differently. I'd probably put this stuff on the passenger side. That way I can bring the driver's side seat all the way back, because the fridge gets in the way and it kind of makes it a little bit cramped. It's not so bad up there, but if a bigger person tries to drive this vehicle, they're going to not be able to do it. So that's probably the one thing I would do differently in terms of, at least how I design the Element. Caring Dad, have you ever thought about visiting Seattle? Yes, I've been. I spent a little over a week there last year in the fall, and I'd like to go back at some point in the future. It was a really, really cool city. Gary G. Nate, have you seen the Ram ProMaster City? Yes, I have seen it. It is slightly larger than the Element in every way, but lacks the optional all-wheel drive. Looking at something new or similar, stealthy enough. I think that I would, instead of going with something like that, I would want to go with something a little bit bigger. As of right now, I'm kind of leaning towards like a E350 cargo van, maybe like a Chevy Express, and then maybe putting a high top on it to make like a really big livable space in there. I don't know though. I mean, I've always been a big fan of like the Nissan NV200 and the Ram ProMaster City. I'm just worried that I won't be able to make, you know, anything. I'd like to get something a little bit bigger. I'd like to be able to cook inside the van comfortably. I'd like to be able to have a bed that maybe is always set up, as opposed to something that I have to set up every single night, because that obviously does get to be a little bit of a pain, having to move the seats forward and so on. So I'd like to be able to figure out a way to do that, and I don't know if the NV200 ProMaster are really the right size for that, but, you know, definitely something that I've been interested in though. Jake Weisenberg, hey Nate, love your channel. Thank you. I have an 07 Elevate myself. Right on. Do you plan on staying in San Diego all summer or traveling around? Thank you, best of wishes. I think I'm going to end up staying in San Diego all summer. That being said, I would love to travel and like go up to PCH, up to San Francisco and Seattle and everything. But like I said, I don't necessarily have the income from just the YouTube channel to be able to do that. So I need to be able to take up those seasonal jobs, save some money, and then travel some more after that. But, you know, depending on how things are going, you know, maybe I'll be able to leave San Diego a little bit early and travel up the coast for a little while before heading back east. Jason Wonder has a few questions here. What is the one possession you missed not having the most? Probably my piano. I had a digital piano when I lived in an apartment, and I definitely miss not having that. I wish that I could have it. Do you ever get nervous when you're away from the van, meaning feeling out of sorts, not being close to your possessions? Not really. I do try to stay close to it and check in on it as often as I can, so I'm really not away from it for very long. But, I mean, yeah, I wouldn't say that I get like nervous, like I can't sleep at night or anything like that if I have to, like, you know, if I'm not in the van for the night or whatever it may be. It is what it is, you know. I'm close enough to it that I'm able to check in when I need to. What is the longest you have ever stayed away from your van? Probably when I went to visit my family for Christmas time. I was away for about a week, and I had it parked in a friend's driveway, and that worked out really well. I mean, it was very safe in that driveway. It actually got full solar all day, so the battery never even had to die. I think I ran the fridge the whole time and didn't have any issues. But yeah, I mean, that was the longest I was away for about a week. And the last question here comes from Kareem Clemens. They say, what is the highest mileage your van can go, and what is the mileage now? Right now, we just passed 138,000 miles here in Nevada, and the highest mileage that I can go is, I don't know. I mean, I've heard of Elements going up to like 400,000 miles, so I think it's totally possible. I don't know if this one's going to necessarily make it that long, but I'm hoping to get some more out of it, and then, you know, as long as I can, and then move on from it. So that's pretty much it. Thanks for watching, guys. That does it for all the questions. As always, post your questions below. There is an FAQ section on my website, so check those out before making any questions, just because I'm not going to answer any questions that are repeats from the FAQ section. Thanks for watching again. I'll talk to you all in the next video.